Hello, my name is Lemois and welcome to my Hardcore Iron Man series. A series in which I will play completely unrestricted but in the most hardcore way possible, attempting the most dangerous and endgame PvM but also doing all of the content that the wilderness has to offer. And yes, this series was heavily inspired by Mr. PoisonedPotion himself. The goals of this account, however, will go in a completely different direction. I've always been a PKer at heart, and therefore the goal of this series will be to PK as a Hardcore Iron Man and simultaneously kill as many other hardcores as possible. So what is the end goal, you may ask? Well, throughout this series I will work towards matching PvP with Hardcore Iron Man's combat stats and gear, and once that's achieved I will then fight the engineer himself in a tribrid fight to the death. So either I become the first person to kill PvP with Hardcore Iron Man, also C Engineer ends this series.
Completed.
In this episode, I will either unlock one of the items to fight the engineer or lose my Hardcore Iron Man status. And to make the early game progress a bit more interesting, I will join the boys in the PvP worlds for this episode. So without further ado, it's time to jump right into the progress. It may have cost me like 10 million bonds to get to this point, but that should be the 10k from a stronghold completed. And that's a very original quest completed. And after that flawless start to the account, it was time to jump in the wilderness and start chapter 1. Lava Dragons, located in level 42 wilderness and completely surrounded by multi. If anyone manages to get a hit on me here before I can log out, I'm 100% dead. So why am I willing to take this risk? Well, I'm looking for 4 key items. I want Lava Dragon Bones, Law Runes, a Rune Kite Shield and a Rune Axe. Once I get those items, I'm getting out of here ASAP. It's not an item I need, but I'm gonna sell it because I really need the money right now, so it is a nice drop. So the way I managed to sustain my runes for Lava Dragons was by yoinking steel plate legs before and after every Lava Dragon trip, and then once I had enough of them, I would go over to the Bandicam General Store. And what's so nice about this shop is that it buys items for the high old price, meaning you don't need the mage level or nate runes to turn your items into cash, which is of course very useful as a low level. Hey, finally something good. I've been here for a while now, so I was very dry actually. Ooh, okay. That's 48 mage now and 2 out of 3 items, so just need to get lucky on the Rune Kite Shield now. Alright, so I'm an idiot and I just realized that I somehow didn't record my Rune Kite Shield drop, but that's all the items that I wanted for Lava Dragons finally completed. Now, I was ready to move on at this point, but I did have some unfinished business with a group of PKers who camped Lava Dragon PvP worlds, so it was time to gear up my main and fight them one-man army style. Oh shit.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
I'm in Edgeville now, so I may as well get myself a quick Wildy Slayer task so I can then train up my combat sets a bit, so I'm hoping it's something decent. Small change of plans. Instead of doing Wildy Slayer, I'm gonna quest a bit to get my combat sets up and get 32 quest points, so I can then start Dragon Slayer, unlock my Dragon Shields, which is gonna be very important later on. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, questing on a PvP world really wasn't as dangerous or exciting as I was expecting it to be, and in reality I was probably just very lucky that I didn't run into anyone. But either way, I'm quickly gonna move on from this part and move on to some more interesting progress. So after questing the whole day yesterday, I've realized that I have a bit of a problem. I currently have a 70k cash stack, and for the plans that I have in mind, I'm gonna need a lot of money. So with that being said, it's time to start running some labs. Alright, that's finally 60 agility, and it's time to go collect the bag. For some reason I decided to bank all of these, so now it's time to go back to the pyramids and cash them all in. So after spending about 15 hours of my life in the desert, it was time for a much more dangerous questing session in Lumbridge, which is one of the most active and scoutable areas in PvP worlds. And that's the Lost Tribe completed, which is a pretty big one because I can now buy a Dorgish crossbow and bomb bolts, which are very cheap and very good at the low level. Death to the Dorgish completed, and I'm very happy that I managed to survive all these Lumbridge quests. And that's 30k bolts, which should last me a long time, even without an accumulator, which I don't plan on getting just yet. First have a casket on the account, and it's shit. And that's 50 range, and I don't think I've been scouted yet, so I'm gonna steer to 60 range or till someone finally finds me.
It's trash.
Ooh, alright. A magic game and 10 lore runes, that's probably one of the best things I could have gotten from an easy clue.
Trash.
Ooh, a Banos page and Iron Plate Lex G. That's actually a sick loot for 1 defense. And that's 61 range. I've been scouted twice here now, so I think it's time to stop being greedy and move on to the next goals. So the next step for the account was getting myself over at prayers, and I decided to get my D-bones from the green dragons north of the graveyard. And because these green dragons are located in the wilderness, I can bring a looting bag, which allows me to bring much more food and gives me a much bigger chance of survival if I do get attacked. Another reason why I like this spot is because, as you can see, I'm surrounded by trees, so even if a PK comes running at me, I'll most likely have enough time to look out before he can get to me. And that should be the final kill, so just gonna run to the bank now and check how many bones I got. Alright, that's 5 Lava Dragon bones and 93 D bones. If I'm not mistaken, that should be enough for 44 prayer. And now it's time for some risky business. So far so good, and I'm really hoping I can do this without being scarred, because otherwise I'm gonna be paranoid as fuck. Protect from range, and that's a big one because I don't want to get solo missioned. Yeah, that's a scout. And that's every protect prey. Alright, 45 prayer, and it's time to get the hell out of this place.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks, don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No.
Alright, so having the prey level for overheads is one thing, but to be able to properly use them, I'm gonna need prey potions. So it's time to start questing for some other levels and then get as many herbs as possible. Yep. 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 So once I was fully prepared for the actual Hellbow grind, I went down to the Chaos Roots in the Edgeville dungeon to get as many herbs as possible and potentially some free loot. So that night I was about 1.5k kills into the Chaos Root grind without scouting anyone interesting. And then just as I went to bed, I got a message from my friend Vixa who scouted someone. So obviously I jumped out of bed and tried to kill the guy. And that is how you get yourself a free bond. Another 1k Chaos Druid skilled, and finishing these potions should get me 38 Hellblow. And there it finally is. Time to make some prayer potions. And that's 85 pea pots, which should be like 65 4 doses, which is very nice. So once again I switched between a lot of different training locations, but one location was the best one by far. These Ogress warriors not only drop sapphires, which I'm gonna need later on for recoils, but they also drop Fulan, which is gonna be my best in slot, and a ton of Velkaballs. So a very nice training spot overall. And that's level 60 mage. And with that done, it's finally time to go die in the mage arena. So instead of moving on, I actually went back to Ogresses to use up all my runes, and I got some stupid RNG. That's another load of alcohols, gems, runes. I actually love this spot. But with that being said, it's time to finally stop milking and move on to the final chapter. Alright, so I just arrived here and I've already been scouted, so I don't think it would be very smart teleporting in right now. And if I'm not mistaken, this should be the final one. Yep, very easy. And that's all of the MA1 rewards obtained. So now it's time to go unlock the Matrina spells, and I'm gonna do it in full splashing gear, because if I'm always splashing on the majors, that means I'm always in combat, and if I'm in combat I can't be attacked by PKs. Alright, so it's almost midday right now, so I'm gonna be smart and wait till tomorrow morning to do Mage Arena 2. But I may as well start it right now because there's no scouts around and that means I can jump right into it tomorrow morning. Wait, what? You need 75 mage, are you fucking kidding me? After that unfortunate event, I had to take a break for a day because I just couldn't figure out a way to train magic without it either being extremely slow or extremely expensive. But then, just as I was about to give up, I got sent help from God himself. So a couple of years ago, Woox made a guide on a genius way to train runecrafting using the Arceuus Library. But something a lot of people might not know is that the exact same method can be used to train magic. Now, the way this method works is actually quite simple. There are 4 NPCs in the library who each ask for different books. If you find them the right book, they give you a book of arcane knowledge in return, and these books can then be exchanged for either runecrafting or magic experience. So starting at level 65, I was going to need 960 books to get to level 75. And once you get used to this method, you can average around 90 to 100 books per hour. So this grind will take around 10 hours if I don't get scouted or attacked, which is very decent considering it's completely free. Alright, I've been doing this for 14 hours straight. I don't think I've played this much in like 10 years, but this should be the final book. And there it is, 77 mage and somehow still alive IRL and in-game. Now, you may be wondering why I got myself 77 mage instead of the required 75, and the reason is actually quite simple. At 77, I can use a Wizard's Mind Bomb, which boosts my magic level from 77 to 80, and that allows me to use a charge spell, increasing my max hit from 20 to 30 and giving me a much bigger chance to outlast the MA2 bosses. So with that being said, it's finally time to either complete Mage Arena 2 or to lose my Hardcore Ironman status. Okay, that's a risky one completed. Alright, it's time for the most dangerous one. I honestly wasn't expecting to make it this far, but I'm so relieved and happy right now. And now it's time to get one of the best looking capes in game. And there it is, the Mage Arena 2 cape on a 1 defense, level 58 Hardcore Iron Man. If you made it this far, then thank you very much for watching. And if you want to see more high risk content and Hardcore Iron Man careers being ended, then make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm currently at 0 subscribers, so getting to 10 would be absolutely amazing. And lastly, here's a small trailer of what you can expect to see in the next video. See you very soon.
That is like my worst nightmare right there, a Voider, and he had a Volatile Nightmare staff.